What up, what up? If you're getting here early, you know what to do. Upper right hand corner, drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate that as always. And we'll wait for people to funnel in. Yo, 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 RPM, good to see you. Night Crusader, Daniel, nice to see you, man. Getting close to Vegas. Linda, what up? Casey, Lunatics, David, RPM. Harlan, life is good, RPM. Life is good. Miguel. What up? Guys, very quickly, we got 66 people in here. Let's get those likes going. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes on the stream pretty quickly. And then really start getting this live stream bumping. Tiger, good to see you. Silver Days, Tracy, Murdoch, that DXY is hot, man. It is hot today. Right off the back of hot inflation numbers. Definitely not what we wanted to see. Yeah, DeFi, that's what we want to, that's really what I want to talk about right now, the inflation numbers. But, I mean, the good news is XRP really shook off those inflation numbers. We saw a little dip and XRP recovered quickly, which is really, really good to see because it really shows that algorithms are selling off the market, and then essentially investors are coming in and saying, all right, well, this really doesn't impact my investment thesis at all on XRP or Bitcoin, so we're going to be buying this dip. Now, it's kind of funny, DFIN, when you look at the inflation numbers. Inflation was predicted to come in 0.3 year over year. I mean, month over month. That was the expectation. It ended up coming in at 0.36, rounded up to 0.4. And they claim that was a massive miss, right? But to me, it just looks like a pretty small miss in the grand scheme of things, and I think that's why the market is using this opportunity to do some accumulation. Gold and silver taking a beating. Interesting. Yeah, Daniel, it's interesting watching the stock market take a bit more of a hit than the cryptocurrency market. Now, logically, this makes sense, right? Because cryptocurrencies don't really trade on any debt. There's no debt in a cryptocurrency. A lot of the stocks that are getting hit the hardest are interest rate sensitive stocks. So it makes a lot more sense that cryptocurrencies would be less interest rate sensitive than the stock market. But for a while, right, we've just seen cryptocurrencies kind of trade as a risk on trade in the market. So seeing cryptocurrencies kind of shrug off the CPI data is, I think, really good sign because the economy overall isn't bad. So if we can just have interest rates or the interest rate fear kind of move away, that'd be really, really good. Silver Days, good to see you, man. John, it's possible it dipped to 55 cents. It's important to understand that XRP's price always varies on exchange to exchange, and this is true for every cryptocurrency. But just think about it this way. If you're on an exchange and that exchange only has 10 XRP left, and maybe in that exchange, right, there's not a lot of, or in the country that exchange is dominant in, there's not a lot of other exchanges, well, then people might be willing to pay more for that XRP than on, say, an exchange that has plenty of XRP. So you're always going to see exchanges have variations in the price of XRP or any crypto asset. And essentially that gets evened out as arbitrageurs buy that and sell it in other places to take advantage of the premium and discount. So it's pretty normal to see the price vary depending on where you're looking, especially on an exchange. Flare drop today. Yeah, the flare drop today was absolutely awesome. It's always nice waking up and seeing a nice fat flare drop in your wallet. It's kind of insane how big they are. Every single time I get it, it's like, whoa, that's a nice little addition. Galicio, Halls Balls, Ed, good to see all you guys. The economy is only going to get much worse. Yeah, I see the argument for the economy getting much worse, but it's important to understand that people have been saying that the economy was going to get much worse for about the last 2 years, and so far it's held up really well. Murdoch, I'm glad you figured out how to use the Bifrost wallet. It really is a great wallet. It really is. And Murdoch, I think it's going to get a lot more fun in the near future because pretty soon we're going to have an incentive to bring XRP and other assets like Bitcoin and Doge into the Bifrost wallet. And the reason we're going to be doing that is essentially this will allow us to earn more flair by turning our XRP, Doge, Bitcoin into FXRP, FDoge, and FBitcoin. And these are all going to be different ways we can earn more and more yield on the Flare network. It's really cool to see what they've built over there. Lucky Massive, do you think 90% XRP is a degenerate crypto portfolio? Asking for myself. Lucky, man, that's a great question, and I like the way you phrase it. Personally, I don't really think that if that is only your crypto portfolio, then that's not really that degenerate. I think XRP, in my opinion, is one of the lowest risk cryptocurrencies out there. I think Bitcoin is probably the lowest risk cryptocurrency just because of the mainstream adoption it's already obtained in terms of an investment perspective. And after that, I think the second lowest risk cryptocurrency might be XRP. You can make an argument it's Ethereum, but I think Ethereum has serious legal and technical issues ahead of it. The XRP ledger, most of the legal issues are behind it, and so is a lot of the technology issues. So I don't think having a portfolio of 90% XRP, as long as that's your crypto portfolio, is necessarily crazy. It's personally not how I do it. I prefer a little more diversification, but I don't think it's as bad as if you told me 90% of my portfolio is in some bottom 300 coin. You know, I think XRP is a little different. So maybe not the answer you were expecting there, but I don't think it's as crazy, right, as it sounds on the surface. But if that was all your assets, like you don't have any equities, you don't have a retirement account, right, you don't have all those things, well, then it's time to really start considering some other options. And yeah. Oh, awesome, Lucky. Yeah, Doge, I like that portfolio. The XRP Doge portfolio is a very interesting portfolio. I look, Lucky, you'd probably be surprised how much of a fan I actually am of that portfolio. It's a little higher risk, right? It's a little less diversification, but it's the all utility with the meme hedge portfolio, which I'm actually a fan of. So I don't hate that one bit. One of the fun things about Doge too is, and I've talked about this, is the ability to use Doge in the Flare protocol to actually generate Flare tokens. So that's another reason I like Doge. Lucky, if I was to say anything, right, I would say Flare is interesting. If you told me you're XRP, Flare, Doge, I think I'd get really excited. And then the last real big addition, I would say, would be Bitcoin. But I understand why people don't want to buy Bitcoin now. You're kind of priced out a bit at the moment. So it's a little tough to recommend Bitcoin at the current prices. I always tell people, right, if you can get a nice dip to purchase Bitcoin, that's always the best time to get some exposure. But I understand why Bitcoin can be a hard buy. It's unfortunate I wasn't doing these live streams when I was buying the Grayscale product at a fat discount. That's unfortunate, but there's gonna be a lot of opportunities like that in the future. I'm really hoping that they release a Grayscale XRP Trust before the ETF goes live, and we see a very similar scenario in which the trust is trading at a discount to the XRP, and I can actually buy XRP half off. That's always a cool opportunity. Yeah, guys, to be completely honest with you, because I know a lot of people all have questions about their individual portfolios and holdings. That's something I do for the private group members, right? I'll talk to them about individual positions. But like, as long as your like core holdings are within the top 20, then you're probably looking pretty solid. Like, you don't have to be a fortune teller to understand that the top assets in the cryptocurrency market tend to perform the best. The only time I really get worried is when people show me a portfolio of like all bottom 300 coins that I've never heard of, and then their percentage allocation to XRP is only like 2% of their portfolio. Those are the things I'm more worried about. But when someone tells me they've got a bunch of premium blue chip coins, and I normally I think that's pretty solid. Legislation is coming for stablecoins in a couple weeks, within the week. Interesting, Tracy. What is there going to be released? Is it going to be voted on? Do you have any more information around that? I would love to know. Would love to know. I don't think I've seen anything definitive in terms of stablecoins, but would love to see any information you have. 801 will jump. I have a feeling. Also, guys, make sure to drop a like on the stream. We have 73 right now. I know we can get this to 100. I know we can get this to 100. Upper right-hand corner right here, 3 dots. Tap it, and then right around here, there should be like the stream. I would really, really appreciate everyone doing that. It really does help a lot. 801 says, I feel like if the halving sends Bitcoin to a high price, we will get stablecoin regs. We could see Bitcoin profits dump into other platforms, ETF, etc. Do the SEC regulation. Yeah, 801. What we're watching right now, I'm not really convinced it's going to be the halving or block rewards that really send it. I think we're watching mainstream adoption of the asset class, and I hope that kind of moves us away from the 4-year cycles. I would love nothing more than the people who are constantly predicting the 4-year cycles to sell and just have it go up and to the right from there, because big money keeps flowing in. So we'll have to see exactly what plays out. But I think the 4-year cycles are going to end. I think we're going to move towards a world where the assets look a lot more like the NASDAQ or the public stock market. So let's see what happens. Wow, guys, you destroyed that 100 like goal. Thank you. Let's set it to 150 now. Let's set it to 150. Can we get it to 150? You guys absolutely blew it out of the water on that 100. Picked up some XXC. Awesome, Darren. Awesome. That's one that I'm really excited about, because it really hasn't gotten a lot of love. And the reason why it hasn't gotten a lot of love is because as a privacy token, a lot of exchanges are a little worried to list it. Now, you can look at that as a bad thing, or you can look at it as a good thing, because we're really moving towards a world that kind of moves away from centralized exchanges and more to decentralized exchanges. And I think the XX token is going to be very, very interesting and just adding more privacy to the world. It's still a very, very small project in terms of market cap, but the technicals behind the project and the people behind it, in my opinion, are more of a large kind of project vibe. It's very interesting, and I like what they're doing a lot. Like I said in the video, it's a project I've been watching maybe for the last 6 months, and I could just never get a good allocation to it. The reason I could never get an allocation to it was just because it was really hard to buy. So when I saw they bridged it to the XRP ledger and you could just buy it on XP markets, I mean, guys, that's where it gets fun, right? For XRP to have these DeFi capabilities, because now we can swap in and out of tokens like that without actually having to go to any kind of centralized exchange, which is always a huge plus. William Whitmore, gold at 2,340. Wow. Thank you so much, William. The price updates are awesome. They're really nice for me to see, because it gives me something to check out when I'm scrolling through the feed. That's so funny. Was it a premium, Ed? Was it a premium by the time it was up there? It fluctuates between a premium and a discount. It does fluctuate between a premium and a discount because of the fact that there's no two-way bridge. But they're going to build that two-way bridge, which is very interesting. Let's see. XP... Guys, also the automated market maker's back live tomorrow. I'm not sure if people forgot about that, but that's really exciting. Well, because of my video, it looks like the amount of holders of the XXC token went up 20%, so that's kind of cool. XRP isn't going anywhere with the trillions of dollars in tokens sitting in the escrow. Well, there's not even close to trillions of dollars sitting in the escrow, so, yikes. Tough comment. AMM is 15 hours and 16 minutes. DeFi, 15 hours and 16 minutes. Okay. So it's going to go live before the live stream tomorrow. That's cool because that means we can, jump on real quick for the live stream tomorrow and start breaking down the TVL and seeing how fast things are rushing in. So that's really nice to see, actually. That will give us a good topic to go over in tomorrow's live stream. So definitely like to see that. What else we got? Send any questions to the chat, guys. Keep them coming. I'm going to take a look on X real quick to see if anything interesting's happening. Going live around 5 a.m. on the East Coast. Awesome, Daniel. Awesome. That's really good to know. Yep, DFIN, right? It's the fix is incorporated too, so hopefully no other issues and the AMM is up and running. Ed, which AMM am I going to be using? If I use an interface, I think it's going to be XP Markets. I've really taken a liking to the guy who runs XP Markets. He's a smart dude. I like the way he talks. I like his platform. I think it's pretty sleek. So I'm going to stand behind XP Markets on this one. Your other question was how long until I jump in? Let me think. Probably not long, maybe like a week or two. I would like to use Ripple's stablecoin to be able to add two-sided liquidity. I would say maybe like a week or two. I just want to see it kind of go live for a couple days before any bugs, right? I don't want to have to be going back and redoing stuff. So yeah, not long at all. I just want to see it up and running. I don't have a definite timeline, right, Ed? It's more that I'm going to sit back and just make sure everything's working properly. But David, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yep, Sologenic. There's a lot of great platforms out there, and that's what's awesome. Mark Harris, man, you didn't miss much. We were talking earlier about CPI. Oh, I guess we could talk about CPI again, just because there's a lot more people in the chat right now. Earlier today, CPI numbers came in not great. They were expecting 0.3 month over month, and we got 0.36. Not ideal, right? We would like to see lower inflation. But the good news is the crypto market kind of shook it off, which is always nice because, let's face it, the numbers weren't great. I expected the cryptocurrency market to react very negatively. The cryptocurrency market kind of just hit a bottom and sort of is bouncing off right now. So, look, if we got good news, I think the market really could have ripped. We kind of got crappy news, which is annoying because it kind of keeps us in no man's land for a little longer. But the good news is it doesn't seem like the cryptocurrency market was overly phased, which is the best thing we can take away from it. Look, inflation, I believe, is on its way out the door. It's just taking longer than people expected. But it's really nothing that's been concerning so far. It's just been like, oh, we're going to have to wait longer. So hopefully we just keep on making progress there. Yeah, Daniel said stock market down over 500 points. Crypto is sideways, not really reacting. Yep, that's pretty much exactly what we saw. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, what's bothering me a bit is, like, I've been following the Trueflation data. And actually, you know what? I'm going to put out a video later today and really break down a chart that's important to be paying attention to. But I want to show you guys this real quick because I find this very interesting. This will really put in perspective the inflation numbers. It's going to be hard to see. I hope you guys can see it all right. But so that light blue line, right? That light blue line that is very volatile up and down is the inflation over the past 100 years. Now that blue line down the middle is the 2% inflation target. And what you'll notice is that inflation right now is pretty much almost on that 2% target, especially when you're zoomed out over the past 100 years. So I hope this just gives you perspective a little bit on like how close we actually are to the target and how small the issue is compared to the 100-year average. A lot of people are making a really big deal about inflation right now when it doesn't seem like that big of a deal in historical context. In fact, we're actually a lot closer to inflation targets than historically we have been over the past 100 years. So I understand the fear around it, but to me, it seems like a lot of fear over things that aren't really that big of a deal. Like I said earlier, the inflation target was 0.3 month over month, and we got a reading of 0.36. So only 0.06 over the target. If instead we got 0.34 instead of 0.36, we would have been in line because of the rounding. So it's just important, right? Keep that in mind. Yeah, ICP is an interesting project. I don't know too much about ICP. My only problem with something like ICP and something like Hedera, and I hold Hedera, so this isn't any kind of shot, is just that I haven't really seen them define their own niche in the market, right? I haven't seen them define their own like specialty in the market. Like I talked about the XX token the other day. Drinking milk from the jug is crazy. It ain't milk, it's water. It's water. Oh, that's funny. Imagine if I was just drinking a gallon of milk in my car. One of the things I like about the XX token, which I was talking about the other day, is just that it has a very, very defined strategy, right? Going after privacy, going after transmitting information in a private manner. It's very easy to see the end goal for how that application takes off. Something like ICP, I just don't know the end goal. I just don't know what really like is a winning environment for ICP. I understand generally what they want to do, but it seems more of like, hey, we created this, come use it, rather than we created this to solve this problem. So look, ICP is definitely one of the better projects in the space. I don't want you to think I'm coming at ICP and saying, oh, this thing is junk. It's just an issue I see with a lot of cryptocurrencies. You have a great technology and not necessarily a great way to use it. Wipe my camera? I think it's your phone. No, you can't get the XX token on Uphold. You can't get the XX token on Uphold. you can get the XX token on the DEX. Now, it's not the actual XX token. It's a derivative of the XX token. It's a representation. They wrap the XX token on the XRP ledger, and therefore you can buy XXC, which is a representation, a bridge to the XX network token on the XRP ledger, and that's how I bought it. Now, you can also just buy it from any exchange, the actual XX token, and you can do this by going to CoinMarketCap and checking that out. Carl G, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. He said, I'm bullish on XRP and was tempted to buy some XRP today, but ICP dipped much more, so I bought ICP instead. Go XRP. That's awesome, Carl. That's awesome, man. It's a good way to look at the markets. So, congratulations. I hope you scooped it up at a pretty good price. Darren, isn't XP markets kind of phenomenal? It really is. It really is very easy. Shout out to XP markets. I think they've really cracked the code on how to do this in a very good way. If you have the Xanim wallet, it was just so easy for me to hop on there and really get working to swap those tokens over to the XXC tokens. It was super intuitive. I maybe had 1 or 2 seconds where I was looking around for a button I needed. But Darren, I'm glad you had a good experience, all right? Because I've been kind of making the XP markets my my exchange of choice, and I think they've been delivering. I really like the interface there. I think they do a good job. Dirt Nap Defense, yes, Jerry, just small amounts, right? Just small amounts. XX token, I like a lot more. XX token is a utility project. I'm more of a utility investor. Brad coin, right, is a meme coin. I think meme coins are going to come to the XRP ledger in one way or another. But I wouldn't call my Brad tokens really an investment, right? I'd call him more of a supporter of the project because I think it's a funny meme. The XX tokens, those are more of an investment. And it's important to understand, DerpNap, that on the XRP ledger, you're not actually getting the XX tokens. You are getting an XX token wrapped onto the XRP ledger, which means you are getting a derivative of it. Now, in the future, they should trade 1 for 1, and you should be able to swap between them. But you just need to understand, right, that is some additional risk you're technically taking, and the token on the XRP ledger for the XX token is XXC. If you have any questions about any of that, I highly suggest you watch the video I did last night. And in that video description, there's actually a link directly to where I purchased the XXC tokens. And there's also a link to CoinMarketCap, which will bring you to their page on CoinMarketCap. And that will show you all the different exchanges the native XX tokens trade on. So XX token is its own network. They created a bridge to the XRP ledger. You can buy those XRP ledger versions on XP markets under the ticker XXC. Other than that, I got to refer you to the video. So hopefully that was helpful. Goodbye, Tether. Hello, XRP stablecoin. Yeah, there's a lot of news today that the MiCA regulations are essentially kicking Tether out of the market. And guys, I think that's why Ripple released the XRP stablecoin. I think Ripple knows that institutions want something they can trust, and what they can trust is Ripple as the issuer of the stablecoin, Ripple to make sure things are issued one-to-one, and a fast and efficient blockchain being the XRP ledger. The more and more scrutiny Tether comes under, the better and better it is for a company like Ripple to issue a premium stablecoin. You can hold the XXC token in your Xanim wallet because it's an XRP ledger token. That's why I chose to do it. I didn't want to have to go make a new wallet on the XX network. I didn't want to have to jump through those hoops. So I figured I'd just buy it on the XRP ledger so I could have exposure to a project I like and also just hold it with all my other XRP tokens. Michael LaGrosta, Hester Purse slams the SEC. for SAB 121. Yeah, I'm wondering when Congress is going to vote on revoking SAB 121, because that's been talked about for a while, but the vote hasn't gone through yet. It seems like all Congress does is hold meeting after meeting about the SEC's climate disclosures. That's all they talk about. And it's like, dude, like, all right, we get it, but no progress is being made here. Let's do something else. Bitcoin 69K. Did we just get a candle up? Did we just get a candle up there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a nice little candle right there. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. Wow. Yeah, guys, I'm not really surprised by this. I think it's a good sign, though. Every single time we see CPI data come out, we see the algorithms really sell down the prices of a lot of these assets. But then what we see is investors come in and say, okay, well, whether or not CPI was 0.3 month over month or 0.36 month over month, it doesn't really make a difference for my investment perspective on things like Bitcoin or XRP. So despite the fact that the algorithms are selling things off, it seems like the majority of investors are saying, who cares? Also, guys, we have close to 300 people in here. Let's make the next push 200 likes. Guys, if you could please go to the upper right-hand corner right here if you haven't done it already and drop a quick like on the stream. It'd be really, really helpful. Appreciate that. Grayscale dumping more Bitcoin. Wow, Grayscale has really been putting a lot of Bitcoin onto the market. DeFi, I think a large part of that is essentially Genesis paying back their creditors. But we'll have to see on that. Ultimately, I think that grayscale dumping will end in the near future, but that's certainly been a headwind. Yeah, Murdoch, and I think the data is going to get better. Murdoch, I've been watching Trueflation, and I just don't see any way inflation on the government side doesn't start to meet what I'm seeing on the Trueflation side, which is actually under 2%. I think Jerome Powell knows that. I think Jerome Powell knows that inflation is going to come in line. So I think that's why right now the market's really shaking things off. And guys, the important thing to note is right, the inflation numbers weren't great. There's no doubt about it. But when you see the market essentially saying that despite the fact that the numbers weren't great, the market is recovering anyway and kind of shaking it off, I mean, that's what you like to see, right? Like, that's what you like to see. It just shows that not even the bad data is really able to keep us down. So we got bad numbers, but the market's kind of saying it doesn't care. And guys, just understand, it's so funny how people think inflation works. Political Pulse, thank you. We'll jump into what I was about to say in a second. But guys, I just want to say real quick, if you're watching the live stream, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing it. Would love to have more and more new people here. I go live almost every single day, but sometimes it's hard to actually see me going live unless you're subbed. If you're subbed to the channel, what you'll see is just on your subscription feed, you'll see when I go live. You might even get a notification for it if you have those bell notifications on. So if you're enjoying the live stream and you're not subscribed to the channel, would really, really love to have you here and appreciate any new subs. We also do member-only live streams. We're going to be doing a member-only live stream tomorrow. I think it will be cool to do that when the AMM is live. Oh, we got a new listener right there. Eddie, nice to see you. Eddie, would love to hear any thoughts you have about the automated market maker or anything like that. But love to see you in the chat. It's always a great addition. So what we were just talking about real quick was the inflation numbers. And look, a lot of people, as I said before, right, are expecting the inflation numbers to just stick at 2%. But if you just look at history, inflation has constantly bounced between this 2% number up and down. So right now, right, we're at essentially right above that 2% line. We're at 3%. But the 100-year average for inflation is actually at about 3.5%. So if you look at the 100-year average of where inflation typically is in the United States, we're right around that range. And I think that's why, in large part, the market's kind of just shaking off the numbers. Guys, thank you. I love how you guys are all showing Eddie the respect she deserves. It's super cool having her in the chat, so absolutely awesome. Always love to see you guys get fired up when someone like that jumps in. See what else we got. XRP boardroom last night with Eddie was awesome. Oh, I missed that. Well, damn. Yeah, would love to have her on the stream. She's invited whenever she wants. Let's see what else we got. What are your thoughts on yen hitting USD 152? Thank you, Eddie. Really appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? That's really not somewhere where I would consider myself an expert in. The yen US dollar trade is fascinating right now. From what I'm understanding is the magic number was around 152. People were talking about the Bank of Japan and the Japan government need to step in if that trade keeps on going out of whack. But I don't really understand at a high level the implications of all of that. So unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and make stuff up for you guys. I don't have much thoughts on that at the moment. Great show the boardroom last night. What's the boardroom? I'm curious. Taylor, good to see you. Thoughts on the older Bank of America partnership rumors with Ripple? Well, a very interesting kind of Brad Garlinghouse kind of quote was that Bank of America, right, is waiting for this case to be over before they start utilizing more of Ripple's products. Now, that was a very interesting quote from Brad Garlinghouse, but look, I've been under the impression for a while that no major institution is adopting Ripple for messaging. I just don't really think that makes sense. Ripple already has Swift already has good messaging. Ripple's advancements on messaging probably aren't that far superior, in which people would leave what do you want to call it, Swift's network to move over to Ripple. So I'm pretty convinced that most of Ripple's partners are moving over to Ripple's technology because specifically they want access to digital asset functionality. So look, I think any institution coming to Ripple's network is likely doing it with the incentive to ultimately utilize XRP. 3 digits, thank you. 3 diglets, thank you. We go into a $50 XRP. Man, I can't wait for that moment. I think we'll get there. Awesome. Thank you, Silver Days. Yeah, that old Alex Cobb message, that was interesting. I didn't even really know much about that because that was after I kind of got involved in the community, but it was funny to see Ripple actually asking people to pull that information. There was some new stuff going around recently. I didn't look into it that closely, but look, I don't think it's any secret that the landscape for how the financial system works is changing dramatically. There's no question in my mind that U.S. institutions are going to be adopting various forms of blockchain technology, and there's no question in my mind that Ripple's got a lot of eyeballs on them. Right now, banks in the United States are essentially being told you're not allowed to interact with cryptocurrencies at all. I think a lot of the banks understand the use case in cryptocurrencies. There was an internal JP Morgan report that specifically said if Ripple beats the SEC, XRP is poised for significant adoption. I don't think these are coincidences, right? I think these big institutions know all about Ripple's products. I think they know all about how XRP can be used. And I think right now, right, they're just not talking about it in a public forum, because if they do, obviously they're going to cause a lot of speculation on an asset that they don't want to cause speculation on. So, look, I think these big institutions know all about Ripple's product. Ripple is all over internal market reports. XRP is all over internal market reports. And I just don't think that's any kind of coincidence, right? I think ultimately we're going to see a lot of these biggest U.S. institutions start adopting a lot of this technology in a significant way as we move into a regulated environment in which they can actually do it. How does the BIS in their stable report have U.S. definitions? I think they're just kind of guessing on the definitions, to be honest. I don't know the exact report you're talking about, so it's hard for me to actually say. AM, no problem. Yeah, XP Markets is dope. XP Market is dope. Look, that's what I'm so excited about. That's what I'm so excited about in terms of the XRP ledger and the automated market makers. I think we're going to see an explosion in the XRP ledger DeFi ecosystem. And it's really cool to see, in my opinion, projects being created to solve utility, projects being created in a way that makes sense. And what do I mean by that? XP Markets doesn't have a token. Most of the projects in crypto I see don't need a token. So I love that a lot of these XRP ledger projects are launching in a way that is logical and not just implementing a token to raise money, which I believe most tokens are. Look, guys, I don't want to throw shots at any projects, and I'm not going to, but even on the XRP ledger, I see projects launch all the time, and I'm like, your token is completely pointless. It's absolutely pointless. Other than a fundraising mechanism, there's no purpose in the token. So I really like seeing projects like what Panos has built and what XP Markets have built, which are projects that are building utility for the XRP ledger, but not creating some token just to raise money, right? So I really like some of the ways these projects are being built. It seems like these projects are being built sustainably. And look, if I look at a project and can't understand why there's a token, that's always a massive issue for me. I need to see a real purpose of having the token, or else I just can't simply wrap my head around how that's not simply using it to raise money, and how that can ultimately come back to backfire in a world where there are regulations about using these tokens to raise money. So I really like that some of these projects are being built in ways that I believe are very responsible. And I'm super excited to see what gets built here. Let's see what else we got. No, guys, there's always going to be pointless stuff. There's always going to be pointless stuff in the cryptocurrency market, right? I think a famous quote that I always push back on is Brad Garlinghouse's quote that 99% is going to go to zero. I think we're always going to see pointless stuff. I think we're always going to see memes. I just don't think those things are going to... I don't think those things are going to suck up the amount of value that regulated cryptocurrencies do. Look, I was listening to a large asset manager talk the other day, and he was saying, look, we're ready to allocate large amounts of our resources into the cryptocurrency sector. We just can't because of regulations. Like, they want to, they just can't. So regulations are no doubt holding us back. And when these institutions get in, they're not going to be looking to allocate their resources into unregulated parts of the market. They're going to be allocating their resources into regulated parts of the market. And that's why I think 99% of the coins aren't going to go to zero, but instead I believe 1% to 5% of the coins are really going to attract a lot of the total investment capital. Support the channel, like and subscribe. Thank you so much, Silver Days. Thank you. We got a Taylor question coming in. That means we're going to have a good one. XLM will be part of it too. They have the most real-world assets. Yeah, XLM is leading the way in real-world assets. Real-world assets are going to be interesting to watch play out. I think all the chains working with the traditional financial system who hold the real world assets are going to be poised to benefit the most when these real world assets are issued. Taylor said, will Gary Gensler ever get subpoenaed? Do you think House Republicans keep grants? Oh, sorry. Look, I don't think Gary Gensler is going to be held responsible. Absolutely not. It's too late. It really is too late. Look, by the Gary Gensler, and there's no doubt in my mind, could delay past the election and just step out of the SEC. I don't think Republicans ever had any interest in holding Gary Gensler accountable. I think it was just a trick to try to get people to vote for them. I think they just wanted more people to support them. Republicans have called Gary Gensler in front of Congress almost less times than Democrats have. It's been an absolute embarrassment. I believe there are a select few Republicans who really did want to hold Gary Gensler accountable, but I think the majority of them just don't really care. I think the majority of them have other political interests in mind, and I just think this issue is kind of just fallen off where while cryptocurrencies are important to some people, there's much more politically divisive issues such as the border, and I think those things have just taken over, and I just don't think anything other than talk is going to happen at this point in terms of Gary Gensler. The other thing to note with Gary Gensler is, look, like Gary Gensler has been very bad for the industry, but for the most part, Gary Gensler has gone after mostly scam projects. It was really Jay Clayton, who was a Republican, that got Ripple into the case. So look, as much as I want to play politics on Gary Gensler, things weren't much better under Jay Clayton. So it's a whole mess of issues. Ultimately, though, I don't think the Republicans are going to do anything to hold Gary Gensler responsible, and I think it's too late, even if they wanted to. Is XRP like Napster? No, I don't think so. I think XRP and Ripple are a lot like Palantir, to be honest with you. I think they're building products that are way ahead of their time. I think it's taking the market a lot longer to realize the value of their products. But ultimately, when the market does realize the value of their products, they're going to absolutely explode. Palantir has been around building artificial intelligence for the past 20 years. In those 20 years, everyone said artificial intelligence is nothing. It will never do anything. Institutions are not going to use artificial intelligence. And essentially, Palantir was just disrespected as a company. They were called the Nokia, whatever. And then out of nowhere, they come out when artificial intelligence starts ripping with the best artificial intelligence platform out there for institutions. I think Ripple's doing the same thing with Ripple and XRP. I think a lot of people in the retail sector have a really hard time understanding what Ripple is building. People in retail have a really hard time understanding real-world adoption of cryptocurrency. They just want to see number go up. They just want to see an infinite yield-generating platform. But I think when the adults in the room start stepping into this asset class, they're really going to understand the utility Ripple is building with XRP, and that's going to drive long-term adoption. Do you think Gary Gensler asked Clayton to file the Ripple suit before exiting chair position in their meeting right before the turnover? Oh, for sure. Oh, I think Gary Gensler was all over Jay Clayton filing the case. I think Jay Clayton didn't like Ripple to start with. I think Jay Clayton felt like Ripple was kind of running over him a little bit. I think Jay Clayton felt like Ripple should have been listening to him and should have been abiding by what he wanted. And I think he felt like a little bit like Ripple was kind of making a mockery of him. I think Jay Clayton wanted to get back at him. And I think Jay Clayton met with Gary Gensler and said, okay, I'm going to sue Ripple. I'm going to walk out the door. Is that cool with you? And Gary Gensler said, yes, that's going to be the start of me trying to make most of these cryptocurrency securities. So that's how I think it went down. Something in the order of that magnitude. I don't think Gary Gensler specifically orchestrated it. If you take a look at the internal meetings between Jay Clayton and Ripple, you can see that Jay Clayton and Ripple were not on any good grounds before Gary Gensler came into the equation. The MIT sessions definitely made it sound like Gary Gensler wanted to see XRP go through the courts. I completely agree with you, Taylor. I completely agree with you. Look, I think it's certainly possible too that Gary Gensler was talking with Jay Clayton far before he was at the SEC or even in the running to be SEC chair. So, look, how much of this was orchestrated by Gary Gensler himself? How much of this was orchestrated by Jay Clayton working with him? I'm not sure, but I think they definitely were working together to make this happen. Marcellus, man, thank you for the $20. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Your guys' support is absolutely incredible for this channel. And yeah, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate that. He said, I think Gary Gensler might end up being correct. We could end up with 500,000 blockchain tokens, but only 5,000 being used between gaming, DeFi, and so on. Oh, I'm sorry. Marcellus, let me read that again because apparently my brain isn't working. I think Brad Garlinghouse might end up being correct. We could end up seeing 5,000 blockchain tokens, but only 5,000 being used between gaming, DeFi. Okay, yeah, I completely agree with you. Look, Marcellus, this is how I see it. I see Brad Garlinghouse being correct in terms of most of the blockchains, right, end up not really materializing to much or only being used for retail. I see Brad Garlinghouse being correct in saying that most of the volume will happen on the top, say, 15 to 20 blockchains, whatever you want to call it. But I think Brad Garlinghouse is incorrect in saying the rest are going to go to zero because there's always going to be a market for them somewhere, right? Even penny stock pump and dumps still have a market. Even the dumbest memes we've ever seen still have a market. And even Brad Garlinghouse has come out multiple times and said that he's shocked that things like Doge have had so much real-world adoption. So, look, I think Brad Garlinghouse is 100% right in that the top blockchains are going to be the most important. I just don't necessarily think the rest are going to go to zero. I just think they'll have a lot less value than the top ones. But, Marcellus, really appreciate that. Oh, and thank you so much. I just saw that other donation come in, Marcellus. Thank you. You're a beast. Really appreciate that, man. Speaking of gaming retail tokens, what do I think of ADA? Look, I like Charles Hoskinson. I think ADA is a cool project, but it just goes back to this thing of like, look, how many different retail style blockchains do you need? How many different forms of the same DeFi platform do you really need? At the end of the day, that's my favorite thing about what Ripple and XRP are doing. They're very focused on who the market is. I just don't know if projects like ADA are that focused on who the market is. Retail DeFi is going to be a thing. It's just hard for me to get super excited about it. So is it a good blockchain? Yeah, I'm sure it's a good blockchain. You know, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I feel like there's more there. There has to be more there in terms of what it's looking to achieve. Right? Like I don't see Cardano sitting down with a major bank and saying, "Hey, we're going to onboard you to Sunday Swap." Like that just doesn't seem realistic. Chainlink is partnered with Swift. Yep. So, and guys, it's important to understand, right? A Chainlink is a project I like a lot, right? Because they know exactly what they're doing. It's putting off-chain data on-chain. It's a very unique application, and it's very tailored to a utility needed in the blockchain ecosystem. So I just like projects like Chainlink that have that defined role, right? I think that's really smart, and I think it's nice to have something where you can fall back and say, this is what this is being used for, right? And with things like ADA, it's just a little too broad for me to fully wrap my head around, like, hey, other than people wanting to play around on this thing, what is it going to be used for? Guys, keep the questions ripping. Really appreciate it. It looks like we're having a nice recovery in the cryptocurrency market, which is something we talked about earlier in the video. The CPI numbers weren't good, but the fact that the cryptocurrency market is kind of sticking a middle finger to the CPI data and saying, all right, well, crypto doesn't care. I mean, that's kind of the best news we could have seen. Look, I've been saying for a while, XRP seems to be right on the verge of something just sending it absolutely flying. And if it can kind of keep pulling up back to that 63, 64 cent level, oh boy, we're going to be in a very, very exciting place. Really good to see XRP shaking off the CPI data, though. I can't understate that enough. I was worried this could be a pretty negative catalyst, and right now it looks like it's just not having much of an impact. So very, very, very good to see that. I was worried when I saw those numbers this morning that the cryptocurrency market was really going to overreact. It looks like Bitcoin's pushing back up to the 70K number as well, which is great to see. The stock market has a small recovery going. It looks like it's also kind of shaking off the data. Overall, pretty good, pretty good. What's up with the XRP ETF news? I kind of said this, right? I don't think there is any XRP ETF news. I think we will see an XRP ETF in the United States. I don't think there's any real timeline for that happening. I think it's just sit back and wait. Look, no one's going to know anything until everyone knows something. So anyone telling you they have inside information on the XRP ETF, be highly skeptical of that. I firmly think we're going to get an XRP ETF, but I don't think it's going to happen right on anyone's imaginary timeline. DirtNap, what do you think is the top positive catalyst for XRP this year? Torres Judgment or ETF? Oh, Torres Judgment, because I think Torres' judgment will open up an XRP ETF. I think the number one things are going to be a Ripple IPO, Torres Judgment, no appeal by the SEC, and then maybe an XRP ETF. I think all of those things in combination are massive, massive positive catalysts. And I just think those are a matter of time. And all of those things I just said, I think there's a 0% chance none of those things happen. I can promise you that this case is going to end at some point. I think the biggest risk would be the appeal. I think if the SEC appeals the case, that's going to be a headache. Luckily, the Second Circuit moves a lot faster than the district courts, and then the Supreme Court moves even faster than that. So the timeline gets faster and faster. Let's see. Frank says AMM ripping the next few weeks will be the catalyst. Frank, that's a great prediction. I think you're right, too. If we see a large influx into the automated market maker, I do think that could kind of be a secret little catalyst to really propel XRP. XRP just needs some kind of catalyst to really get the price ripping. And once we know, what we know about XRP is once the price starts ripping, right, it goes parabolic. So XRP just needs some kind of catalyst, and I think a great relaunch of the automated market maker could be that catalyst. I really do. AMM starts trading Marcellus tomorrow at 5 a.m. So what's cool about that is we'll be able to break down how the automated market maker is performing in tomorrow's live stream. Maybe we'll go live and answer some questions and then break that down in the member-only live stream, because there will be a member-only live stream tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that. We'll jump into the automated market maker in the member only and really go over some of that TVL. That will be cool. Because that will give us a good topic to talk about. And it's going to be cool to kind of review some of those pools filling up again. I had a lot of fun watching those pools fill up the first time. And I was watching the pools specifically fill up on XP markets. You would think with how positively I talk about XP markets, I'd be getting paid by them. Absolutely not. I wish I was, but Great platform, and I've taken a liking to their CEO. I have. I like that guy. I think he's a good guy, so I decided I'd be supportive of their platform. Question, how massive for Ripple was the recent case making it where the SEC needs to show victims in pecuniary harm to the institutional investors that were deemed to have bought unregistered sales of securities? Taylor, your questions are just out of this world. We'll wrap it up with this, Taylor, because I think that is a fantastic question, and I want to hit on this. If you don't mind, I'm going to take it from square one, because this is something that I think everyone needs to understand. And I think your question really leads into the topic nicely. All right, so what a lot of people aren't fully aware of is that right now the only thing left in the case is what is Ripple's fine. What does that mean? Well, Ripple sold $700 million of XRP, which was deemed to be securities transactions. Those transactions are securities. The XRP is not a security. Linda, welcome. Excited to have you, Linda. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so Ripple sold $700 million worth of XRP, and those $700 million of transactions were securities, not the XRP. So now Ripple and the SEC have to decide how much of a fine does Ripple need to pay for not registering those transactions, right? The transactions. Well, the SEC claims that because Ripple sold $700 million worth of XRP in securities transactions, they should owe the SEC $2 billion. Now, that to me seems absolutely insane, right? Because if you only sold $700 million, where's the $2 billion coming from? Now, the SEC has logic for that. We're not going to get into that. Now, here's the problem with the SEC, and this is getting to Taylor's question. Very recently, there was a court case that came out. And this happened in the Second Circuit, which means that it needs to be applied to the Ripple SEC case. And in that case, the judge specifically said that the SEC is not allowed to collect remedies on a punishment unless investors were harmed. Now, guys, take a look at the XRP price chart. And I want you to take a look at where XRP is trading right now at 61 cents and analyze for how long in history has XRP been trading above 61 cents. And what you'll notice is there's been very, very few amounts of time XRP is actually traded above the current price. Out of XRP's 10-year history, only maybe about 6 to 12 months. And because of that, it is highly unlikely that any investors are actually at a loss on the XRP they bought from Ripple, which means based on this new court case, no investors were harmed. There was no harm on the $700 million worth of sales. And because no investors were harmed on that $700 million, according to this new court case that just came down from the Second Circuit, a circuit that Judge Torres must abide by, the SEC could end up getting almost no money based on the fact that no one was hurt. The SEC did not name a single person who was hurt by Ripple sales. The SEC couldn't identify a single person that was actually damaged, and they are required by the Second Circuit to show someone who is damaged if they want to collect the $700 million. Now, the last thing I'll say is it gets even worse for the SEC. And why is that? Because even if they were able to find someone who was harmed, maybe Ripple landed a massive contract in selling 100 million XRP to institutions at $4 at the peak of the 2018 bull market. Say the SEC out of nowhere found someone and somehow put it into the case, even though it never even made it into the case. Say somehow it got in there. And you're already seeing how ridiculous this is for the SEC. But say they got it in there. They found an institution who bought XRP for $4. Now they're at a loss. Now they're in massive, right? Now, all right, so that was $100 million. If that institution wasn't in the United States, the SEC is once again being told to go kick rocks. Because the SEC only has jurisdiction over the U.S. market. So that means the SEC needs to not only find an investor who lost money on the XRP, but they also need to prove that that investor was from the United States. I don't know if there is anyone in that category. I literally don't know if there's anyone in that category. And this is what is so shocking. The SEC went through all of this, and it turns out that they might not even have a case for a single dollar. Now, I do believe the SEC will get some money in a verdict. Typically, what we've seen in this case is that Judge Torres will give the SEC a massive whipping and then give Ripple, right, a little flick in the eye. So I think Ripple is going to get their flick in the eye. I do, right? I think Judge Torres is going to say, all right, Ripple, give them $100 million and let's move on. Okay, Ripple, give them 25 million. Let's move on. I think we're going to see that. Now, I don't think Ripple should owe anything based on what I just broke down, but I do think Judge Torres is going to give the SEC something. Look, at the end of the day, you don't need to be a legal expert to understand human psychology. You don't need to be a legal expert to understand how a human has acted throughout history and how they might continue to act. Throughout this entire case, Judge Torres has been consistent. She has said the SEC is wrong, Ripple is right, but despite that, Ripple, maybe just do this for the SEC. Ripple, you're right, the SEC is wrong, but Ripple, do this just to make them happy. That is what I think we'll see with the final ruling. Judge Torres has consistently done that. She has given the SEC all the time they have needed, all the documents they have needed, and the SEC has proved nothing. Because of this, Judge Torres has continued to rule against the SEC and continue to slap them on the wrist. Ripple, on the other hand, though, Ripple, I don't think Judge Torres wants to be seen as just going all in with Ripple, just saying everything Ripple did was perfectly fine, and therefore I do think Ripple is going to get a stern talking to, and I think Ripple is going to be forced to fork over a couple million. Guys, with that said, I'm going to close up the live stream. Absolutely amazing question there, Taylor. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Automated Market Maker live tomorrow at 5 a.m. We're going to be breaking it down here, TVL, how things are looking, how the pools are filling up. Guys, can't wait to see you there. Member-only live stream tomorrow, and for